Hi, I'm Jay Fincham, and for this assignment, I chose to discuss microaggressions as well as the language that's used from what I've learned from our text and from personal experiences when discussing things with the LGBTQ plus community. Um, our text points out that microaggression is it perfectly profoundly affects minority members and their stress levels and health. In fact, it's the term abuse is used because aggression doesn't quite cover the full term, whereas abuse accurately describes the action and its effects on other people's like distress, anger, worry, depression, anxiety, pain, fatigue, and even suicide. When it comes to the language that's used regarding sexual orientation and gender, there needs to be the correct cultural understanding so you don't offend or hurt a client. Two of the most get uncommon or not realized microaggression is how you address these individuals and gender identity versus an individual's sexual preference. Gender identity refers to their internal sense of being male, female, or something else, whereas sexual orientation is referring to a person's physical, romantic, and or emotional attraction to another person. And then the term transgender or gender nonconforming is an umbrella term by diverse groups of people such as myself whose gender identity expression and or behavior does not conform to the gender that they were assigned at birth. There are approximately 6.5% of the American population that are part of the LGBT plus community and suffer from microaggressions every day from strangers, professionals, friends, and even family. Um, as a transgender individual, I've experienced some of the worst of those microaggressions while attending Bellevue University to get my bachelor's degree. I've also experienced it from I'm one of nine, my one full blooded brother who found it disgusting and vile until recently when he needed help. And of course, I help him. Um, but while at Bellevue, I had a professor ask me why my first name was just a J when there were so many names to choose from. My parents were boring for choosing only a J. And it caught me off guard. And after that class, I had a student stop me and talk to me about how her brother was transgender and how disgusted she was. And after several disgusting slurs and micro or macro aggressions, I was forced to back down from my own beliefs and self and not agree but not disagree with just kind of, okay, with the things that she was saying, just mainly out of my own safety and fear for the retaliation I would get from her. And I wanted to remain professional. So at first, it was small things like, she would call him that nasty F word, and I would just let it go. And then suddenly it changed how he's, pardon me, a tranny, and how if she ever caught someone like that in the public bathroom with her daughter, that she would fatally harm them. And the conversation continued after class every day. And it finally took me to a place where I had to go to the dean and say something because I couldn't take it anymore. I, I felt like I was under attack. And so it felt as though it was something that wouldn't be comfortable, for me to say to a client or have a client say to me. So if I were to have a situation come up like this in my future counseling work, I would remain professional. I would provide the services that I'm required to provide that client to the best of my ability. And if I felt as though it was something that would not be comfortable or that I would not be able to provide appropriate services to the client, then I would explain that to the client and explain that I believe that they would most likely find a good fit with another therapist. And I would then give them recommendations to seek out other therapists and provide them with the information and contact to do so. And I would also provide them with client information, with any information and resources that are available to help them while they're seeking out a new therapist in the future. And give them all the knowledge and help that I can so that their transition is smooth in that process.